Hey there, Heather Ho there, Joe Cutter. I'm welcome you to another Stone Cold Hockey video from when we tried to do the 67-68 St. Louis Blues, the first expansion team to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals because every expansion team that entered 67-68 were put in the West Division, whereas the NHL's East Division, where they're all the original six teams. It's practically a fight between Toronto, Montreal, Boston, and New York for supremacy in the East. Chicago and Detroit are far behind. In the West, it's a dogfight. Oakland is far back. We are in second place in the West, 3 points back of those pesky Philly Flyers, tied with Pittsburgh, with LA and Minnesota fighting for that fourth spot. Stan Mikita leads in goals with 37, Bobby Hall second, 33. There's a four-way tie for third with Phil Esposito, Johnny Busick, Bill Cowboy Flett, and Ron Ellis with 22. Wade Connolly and Dick Duffel also put up 20 goals each. Our best goal scorer, Jerry Melnick, has had a goal streak. He is now 13th in the list with 19, and Red Barons is 25th with 15. Assists wise, Bobby Russo leads at 36, Gordie Howe second, 35, Marshall Bear 33. We don't have anyone in the top 30 in that mark. Points, Stan Mikita looking pretty good with Gordie Howe and Roger Bear being third place. Penalty minutes, Barclay and Noel Picard 1-2 in penalties, Ed Van Imp third. Bob Plager 23rd, so, it's got to be there. Goes against Gus Borsley with the best one, 186, Favel 188, Rogie Vachon 195. Seth Martin 8th at 225, Mark Glenn Hall with 239. Spread out, Dave Dryden's only won 2 games, but are ahead of Roy Edwards and Gary Bauman for goals against. Standings wise, we played 44 games. We played the fewest alongside the Rangers in the NHL, whereas Oakland's played 47. By points percentage, it's a battle royal. Rangers might even take third place. St. Louis 109 goals, third in the division, second in goals against to Philadelphia. 12-6-4 at home, 5-12-5 on the road. So doing all that, St. Louis. Glenn Hall 9-10-5. Martin 7-6-3. Cayley 1-2-1. So we're battling. Melnick 31 points. Red Berenson 27. Faith from Simberside and Terry Crisp both with 22. Doing all that. Highlights. Our best win was 7-1 over Minnesota. Our worst was 6-0 taken out by the Rangers. That's 15 hat tricks. We had the last one, Jerry Melnick against Minnesota 7-1. Best games, Boston, Chicago 6-3 when Boston was down 3-0 to those Hawks trying to look for their first win. And that's will score a goal in Chicago. Boston 6-3 win over Oakland when they on Christmas Day when they were down 3-0 to Oakland. And Chicago beating Oakland 6-3 November 5th when Oakland was up 3-1. Chicago scored 5 straight. Those are 2-goal games. Our best game was against LA with 21 points. Manage. So now we head to Detroit on January 25th. And we have Glenn Hall, who used to be a Red Wings goalie, by the way, before you got sent to Chicago. Glenn Hall against Roger Crozier doing his job. Roy Edwards and George Gardner and the rest of their goalies. We still have Don Kelly. They have Gordie Howe, Mr. Hockey, Norm Allman, great player. Alex Delvecchio, part of the production line. Gary Jarrett, Floyd Smith, the future Leafs coach / GM. Dean Prentice, Bruce McGregor, Gary Bergman, Paul Henderson, the 72 Canada Cup of 7 Series champion for Canada. Doug Roberts, Kent Douglas, the former Leaf. Pete Mahovlich, or Frank Mullins Jr., if you will. Jimmy Peters, Howie Young. Bart Crashley, Nick Libet, Gary Marsh, Jim Watson, Bob Falkenberg, and Sean Talbot. So we're doomed to get Sean Talbot onto St. Louis and all that. I think we never had him. Nevertheless, Fred Berenson, the guy we picked up for the Rangers, Frank Marcel, Jerry Melnick, our goal scoring guy, Jimmy Roberts, not the tennis commentator, Bill McCreary, the uncle of the referee of note, Bill McCreary, Gary Sabarin, Larry Keenan, Terry Crisp, head coach of the 89 Flames when the Cup, Don McKenney, who was traded to the Leafs in the Andy Backgate trade. Ronnie Shock, who in real life hit the double overtime game winner to send the Blues to the Stanley Cup Finals. Craig Cameron, Tim Ecclestone, Barclay Plager, Dickie Moore, the former Habit Leaf icon, Wayne Rivers, Fred Huckle, Bob Plager, Roger Picard with Noel Picard brothers, and of course Noel known for his trip with Bobby Orr in the Stanley Cup Finals. Al Arbor, a defenseman with glasses, Norm Beaudoin and Ray Fortin. We lost Stewart and Atwell to the Rangers for Berenson. Chance for their heated stop by Crozier. Penalty. It will be Kent Douglas. Can we take advantage? Marseille can't take the shot. That's for Sabrin. Sabrin. 3 minutes later. Red Wings, Jimmy Peters. Stop by Glenn. 5 minutes later. A chance for Tim Ecclestone. Fuck. Last chance. Harrison Bell. One stop by Crozier. Man. One stop by Crozier. Battle. Aggression. How young. We do. Skiers. Power play goal. Burn Terry Crisp. Terry Crisp, that is his 10th from Picard. No, Picard and Saint Marseille. Hit. They're mad. They're really, really mad. Forster, there's a fight. There's a fight between Picard and Douglas. That's Roger Picard, that is. Gregor Delpecchio. Is it at 1? Near the end. Russia? With the penalty. Well, can we score before the end of it? Melnick's fucked up. We are tied skis at 1 skis. There's it. Yeah, that's it. 4 minutes later. Chance for the Red Wings. How? No. 3 minutes later. Penalty on a Saint Marseille. Damn it. I think how did he? Oh, 68. I don't know if he scored 40 goals in 1968. But anyway, yeah, Jared and Prentice. Oh, your sister. We're in trouble. I'm guessing. Yep, we can only score once on Crozier, and we lose the game 2-1. Shouldn't lose to this team. Chris was our goal. Prentice and Hal for them. So we had all these chances. We had three power plays. We got 1, and they scored in the power play. Vexing. So we would host the Rangers, but because of the rule that we lose the game, we're going to have to move on. Philly and Detroit tied at 4. Oakland, Minnesota 1-1 tie. Yeah, Philly, Detroit. Gardner tied Perrant. Philly was up 4-1. Forbes, Kennedy, Andre Lacroix, Eric Hostred, and Gary Dornhofer scored, but Detroit, McGregor, Ullman, Henderson, and Bergman scoring the goals. Oakland, Minnesota tie. Smith and Manico in the net. Connolly and Amon. What are the goal scores? Boston, Montreal, the Battle Royal, 4-4 tie. Vachon and Johnston with the ties. The tie goes. Boston goes by Busick, Shack, McKenzie, and then Eddie Shack at 17th. Montreal goes by Henri Richard, Harold Vadney, Yvan Cornway, and Jacques Lebert. LA Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh wins 3-2. Spinkley beats Zajac. Pittsburgh goes by Schinkel, Andrea, and Ab McDonald. Joyal scored twice for the Kings. Did we beat the Rangers? No. 3-1. Seth lost to Jacobin. McCreary scored, but it was Goyette, Hadfield, and Mattel for the Rangers. Leafs will tie the Blackhawks 2-2. Dryden and Gamble. 20 goals by Keon and Pulford, Mones, and Makita for the Hawks. Sunday, we don't play on Sunday. But Sunday, no Bloody Sunday. Pittsburgh goes to Boston and wins 5-2. Binkley beats Cheevers. Boston goes by Stanfield and Espo, but Pittsburgh goes by Day, Shaco, Ubrico, his 20th, Ab McDonald, and Andy Bathgate. Toronto at Chicago, and it's a tie. Byron Dryden with a tie. Chicago was up 3-0. Warren, Orban, and Bobby Hall. But Walton, Armstrong, and Pappen. Pappen scored with 18 seconds left. Detroit, Minnesota, tie at 5. Crozier and Manico with a tie. Detroit goes by Floyd Smith, Roberts, Smith, Jimmy Peters, and then Paul Henderson. Minnesota goes by Wayne Connolly, Dave Ballin, Wayne Connolly again, Dave Ballin, and Moose Fasco. Didn't know play for Minnesota. I forgot about that. Yeah, Bill Masterton is still alive, if you must know. Oakland, New York, 1-0 thing. And that was a third period goal by Donnie Marshall. Suitcase Smith almost fucked up the Rangers. And Philly beats LA 4-2. Faval beats Rutledge. LA goes by Joyo and Flett. Philly goes by Larry Sato, the Hammering Jew, who basically had a lot of anti-Semitism towards him. Leon Rocheford, Sean Gauthier, and Andre Lacroix. Toronto, Montreal on a Tuesday. It's a tie. Aaron Worthley. Armstrong and Ellis for Toronto. Russo and Bedivo for Montreal. We got to face Pittsburgh. LA goes to Minnesota, wins 4-3. Rutledge beats Minico. LA goes by Wall, LeBoisson, Irvin, and Lowe McDonald. Minnesota goes by McCord, Wojciech, and Connolly. McCord finally scoring goal. Chicago Rangers see Chicago win 3-2. DeShorty beats Jackman. Come in. Ranger goes by Rattel and Rod Sealing. Kitchener. Chicago goes by Warren, and Dennis Hall. Pittsburgh St. Louis sees us win 3-0 as Martin gets a shutout. Berenson with 2, Roberts with 1. Berenson 3.9. So we can play the next game. And the next game is in Pittsburgh. So a home and home with those pesky, let's say Pirates, but I can't. They're the Penguins. Chicago, Boston. Boston 7-4. Johnson beats Shorty. Chicago goes by Jarrett, Hall, Bobby Hall, Worm, and then Bobby Hall again. 36. Boston goes by Espo, Sanderson, Tommy Williams, Espo, McKenzie, Espo again, and Espo. Espo scored 4 goals on his former team, saying thanks for trading me to Boston. Detroit goes to home, wins 4-2. Everett beats Sacek. LA goes by Menard and terrible Ted Irvin. Jarrett, Paul Henderson, Jimmy Peters with 2 goals. Wow. Rangers Montreal. Montreal wins 4-1. Worsley beats Jackman. Rod Sealing, Kitchener scored for the Rangers, but Lemaire, Backstrom, Lemaire from Montreal. Oakland, Philly. Philly with a big shutout win 5-0 as Faval does his job. Van Imp, Hoekstra, Van Imp, LaForge, and Sutherland for Philly. Then we go into Pittsburgh, who has 15 of everything. Wins, losses, and ties. Let's Binkley in net. No Hank Basson today. We go with Seth. My time. Pittsburgh, lots of wins, losses, and ties. Ad McDonald, Eddie Bathgate, Gene Ubrico. Yeah, Andy Bathgate, the former Ranger and Leaf icon. Art Stratton, Billy Day, Earl Icklefield, Ken Schinkel, Hugh McCreary, Paul Andrea, Leo Bovine, Bob Dillenbow, George Connick, Val Fontaine, Mr. Clean as it comes, Noel Price, Bob Rivard, Bill Spear, Al McNeil, rest in peace, Dick Mathewsey, Dick McCollum, Mel Pearson, and Ted Lenyon. Let's see what happens. 5 minutes into the game. Oh boy. Aggression. Here with the 2-minute call. Do we take advantage? Ecclestone, nuts. And no shot by Keenan. Ecclestone. 2 minutes. And McDonald can't get a shot. Then 5 minutes later, we get penalized. It's Picard for 2. Ubrico stopped by Seth. And we will kill the clock on Bathgate. Last moments of the period. Keenan tries to score. I can't do his job. We're down 1-0 after 1. And 5 minutes. That's the tie. Skewer! Larry Contrary. Mr. Keaton his 4th from Robertson Crisp. We're tied. 3 minutes. No shot from Spear. 2 minutes later. Aggression. We deliver a hit, so Sabri gets a chance. No. we're in the box. It's Plager. Another penalty. It's Sabarin. We're dead. But we killed the zone on these guys. They're 2-1. Pittsburgh's up 2-1. Right, Berenson. Action, Melnick. And a few minutes later. No. Much later. Times 12 makes it 3-1. We're in trouble. Double hit. No Price. Price is right. I'm still going to land. Excellent. We beat up on Pittsburgh on home ice, but we can't do the double. 4-1. Andrea Stratton. Andrea Stratton. That's a name. Nice name. So we suck, to say the least. Our next game is home to Oakland, so we should be able to win that one. Boston 7-2 on the Rangers. Andre Gill, the hero. Ranger goals by Marshall and Hatfield, Stanfield, Busick, Shack, Tommy Williams, Espo, and Tommy Williams. Tommy Williams with a hat trick for an American-born player. That's pretty good. Minnesota goes to Detroit, wins 3-1. Manico beats Everts. Boudreaux, Goldsworthy, and McMahon with the goals. Delfecchio for Detroit. Montreal wins 3-2 as Vachon beats Rutledge. Ellie goes by Low McDonald and Cowboy Flight. Jean Beliveau with one, Cornway with two to get to 20, 3-2. Chicago Philly sees Philly with a shutout. Parent does his to starting. Dornhofer, Misyuk. What a mirror. He has 2 goals. Toronto goes to Pittsburgh and gets their asses but 4-1 as Basson takes down Bauer. Mike Walton for Toronto, but Day, Shanko, Ubrico, and Inglefield for Pittsburgh. We should be able to win. How the fuck did we lose to Oakland? Glenn Hall, what the hell? Keaton, St. Marcel, and Cameron scored, but Oakland, Cahan, Emmett, Hampson, Brenneman, Ordorsky, and Hampson. Fuck. And we don't play on Sunday. Boston 6-3 over Detroit. One more game. So Boston wins 6-3 as Johnston takes down Edwards. Saver, Westfall, Busick, Doak, Busick, and Jack. Detroit goes by Crashley, Delvecchio, and Howe. Chicago 5-1 over LA. Dryden over Rutledge. Irvin with the goal LA. Chicago, Bobby Hall with 2. Doug Jarrett with 2. And Wayne Mackey with 1. Oakland, Minnesota tied at 1. Hodgmanico, Wojciech, and Swarbeck scoring the goals. Montreal Rangers 1-1. Vachon and Jackson with the ties. Camille Ville and Lemaire with the goals. And Toronto goes to Philly in 1-1. Baron Perron, Selby, and Oliver. Fritz Selby scoring against his former team. Wednesday we host Boston, but you never know. Chicago beats Toronto 4-1. DeShorty beats Bauer. Chicago goes by Makita Hall. Makita getting to 40 goals before Bobby Hall, and then Pitt Martin. Mike Walton is 22nd. LA with the shutout. Rutledge over Bauman. Irvin, White, and Cowboy Flat with the goals. Philly Montreal tied at 2. Pittsburgh crushes Oakland 4-1. Bazin beats Hodge. Oakland go by Cahill, but McCreary, Price, Fontaine, and Boivin. Fontaine, Mr. Clean. Did we beat Boston? Nope. 4-1. Gill beats Hall. We were up 1-0 after 2 periods, thanks to Chris, but Tommy Williams, Sanderson, Dallas Smith, and Ken Hodge Sr. scoring. We're dead. Rangers Detroit tied at 3. Pittsburgh wins 4-2. They are on a roll, Mom. Our next game against Philadelphia. We need to win. Boston beats Detroit 5-2. Montreal 3-1 as Vachon beats DeShorty. Chicago go by Warren, Mickey Redmond, Russo, and Backstrom from Montreal. Minnesota with a shutout over Oakland. Manico beats Hodge. Boudreaux, Taylor, Connolly, Ballon, and Boudreaux are your goal scorers. Rangers Pitt tied at 2. Philly St. Louis. Yeah, it's a 3-2 win as Hall beats Perrant. Roberts then 2 by Melnick. Yay, Melnick. Melnick. Dornhofer has 16 forced Kennedy for Philly, but we win the game 3-2. We go to Boston to finish this video off. We sure do. We go to Boston. In the meanwhile, Toronto ties Oakland. That's pathetic. Montreal ties Chicago. Minnesota wins 3-1 over Philly as Manico beats Perrant. Boudreaux has Goldsworthy and Connolly with the goals. Turnover for Philly. And the Rangers crushed Detroit 5-2. So we must beat Boston in the Garden. Seth Martin and Eddie Johnston. Cheevers and Gill not playing, but yeah, Martin has Johnston. Boston has Espo, who got traded the previous year from Chicago, so that was a big steal of a trade. Johnny Busick, the Chief. Pine McKenzie, also in that deal, I think. Ken Hodge Sr. Ken Hodge Jr. did score 30 goals 1 year for Boston, but then he broke out into mediocrity. Derek Sanderson, who pissed away all his money and was on a park bench, but saved by Bobby Orr among other people. Eddie the Entertainer Shaq, Here Comes Shaq. Fred Stanfield, there. Tommy Williams, an American in the NHL, which is unusual in '68. Ed Westfall, one of the original Islanders. Bobby Orr, Bobby freaking Orr. Glenn Saber, yeah, that guy. Ranger fans boo him to death. Ted Green, of course, a couple years before being hit in the head with that stink swing brawl with St. Louis. Skip Craig, Dallas Smith, a good defenseman. Don Ellery, Gary Dirk, Russ Lonsberry, Wayne Cashman in his early days. John Arbor, Ron Murphy, and Barry Gibbs. Here we go. Early on. Very early. No hit. And early on again. Hodge? No. No hit. 3 minutes later. Transfer Melnick. Oh, stopped by Johnson. 5 minutes later. I will stand that. Another 2. Transfer Marseille. No. Later on. But we didn't. Yes, you did. No, we didn't. Yes, you did. 2 minutes later. Fight. And it's Plager fighting Bobby Orr. Bobby Orr in a fight? That's unusual. But yeah, Bob Plager does his job. They score 10. Shaq and Sanders. Only a minute later. Red Baron said no. Forcer, Gresham. Good hit, no penalty. Action. Berenson. Hey. Hey. High in the sky, McKenzie, Espo, and Westball. 5 minutes later. Regression. Dallas Smith. Crisp can't take a shot. Jetski or Papa Powerplay goal. Melnick. 22nd from Barclay and St. Marcel. And we still late, but we're down 3-1. We're in trouble against these Boston bullies. Battle. Plager in the box. Damn you the hell. 5 minutes later. Severin? No. They're killing the clock on us. And Esco is 29. Oh, that doesn't. Bandits to Chicago. Luck, he just sucks. So Don Cayley's going to come in the net for 5 minutes, and we lose 5-1. We're just having a ball, aren't we? At least Melnick scored, and at least we didn't get shut out. But still. So of course that means we got to go until we win. Toronto goes to LA on a Monday and ties. On the Tuesday, nothing. Wednesday, we host LA. Boston, Chicago 4-4. Oakland shocks Philly. So in Pittsburgh tie, we beat LA 3-2. Hall beat Rutledge. Goals by Melnick, McCurry, and Marseille. Hughes and Flett for LA. Montreal, Toronto. Toronto wins the original six battle. Bauer beats Worsley. Tremblay, Cornway, as in Gilles Tremblay, Cornway, and J.C. Tremblay scoring. Toronto goes by Armstrong, Ellis, Frank Mahovlich. Frank Mahovlich is 17th, and Murray Oliver. Montreal Detroit on the Thursday. Montreal wins 6-3. Rangers shut out Minnesota as Jackman does his job. Gilbert, Kurtenbach, Rotell, Goyette. So we go to Pittsburgh to start the Friday video. Yeah, we always end up with Pittsburgh, don't we? Yes, we do. So that'll end this video. Anyway, I'm just I'm going to do.